This is Bed Mobility Part 4. It's a practical, hands-on kind of video in how you can help somebody get in and out of bed using good body mechanics to minimize strain. I have to say this video encompasses common techniques, but it should not be mistaken as an individualized approach. For that, you truly need a physical therapist to address your specific needs. In order to have greater insights into body mechanics and how effective it can be, I would recommend taking a look at Bed Mobility Part 2, Getting In and Out of Bed. It covers body mechanics in great detail and gives you a better understanding so you can appreciate all the movements that you need to make when you're assisting somebody. Then there's Bed Mobility Part 3, and that discusses the bed rail, where to put it, specs in terms of purchasing one so it fits your needs, and how to use the bed rail. So if you combine those two videos, it really gives you a comprehensive insight into what you're doing in this video. This is one method of helping someone roll. You can place one hand on the shoulder, one hand on the hip, but make sure your knee is on the bed because it'll protect your back. Here's one example of helping somebody roll. Okay, Fred, we're going to roll onto your side. First, let's position your hand out here, and then give me your hand here. And then you're going to reach for the bar and hold on to it. And then when I tell you, you're going to pull, okay? All right, so now I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and behind his left hip. So I'm going to help pull him over like this. But before I do that, I want to count to 3 so that we work together. We're helping each other. So you're going to grab that bar. On the count of 3, Fred, you're going to help me roll. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Good. So we're working together with rolling. For some individuals, how you position the leg before you roll can make a big difference. And here's a video. If you're trying to help somebody roll and you take them by the hip and the shoulder, the left leg may be left behind and may actually work against you helping the individual roll. So what you can do is lift the left leg and cross it over so the weight of the leg will actually help with the rolling. And then you roll the individual onto their side like that. An alternative position that you can place your hands is one above the wrist and one next to the knee. Now, when you pull on the knee, it's very effective and it has the least amount of strain in terms of trying to help somebody roll to the side. Positioning the hand above the wrist is important, so you leave the hand free so it can grab either the handrail or it can grab the side of the bed. So here's an example of placing your hands on the knees and at the wrist in terms of assisting somebody with rolling. And to get him to roll onto his back, okay, Fred, let's bring your arm back. I'm going to take the bottom knee on both sides, and then I'm going to roll him onto his back. So I use his knees as leverage to get him on his back. I can do the same the opposite. I can use his knees as leverage to help him roll onto his side instead of putting my hands on his hip. Once you've helped somebody get positioned on their side, the next thing to do is to prepare the legs to help with sitting up. So you need to help draw the knees towards the chest, and then the last thing that you do, you simply slide the feet off the edge of the bed and just have gravity bring the feet down. As you can see, the thighs are fully supported, so you're not trying to lift the entire leg, you're just simply trying to slide the feet off the bed. The last step is bringing the shoulders up. So the one hand is under the bottom shoulder, the other hand is in the back of the top shoulder. Notice that the knee is on the bed to protect your back. Then lastly, you want to lift both shoulders up from the bed, but you want to keep the top shoulder more forward to prevent the individual from leaning back, which would make it much more difficult for both you and the person to sit up. Here's a clip putting it all together. So I'm going to help Fred get up from the bed, and whenever you're helping an individual get up from the bed or from the chair or from the floor, it's really good to get into the routine of counting to 3, where on the count of 3, the individual tries to help you. And that way you have less strain on yourself, and also it helps maintain the strength of the individual that's helping you. So we're going to start sitting up. First, we're going to start with the legs. And Fred, what I want you to do is help me bring your legs up on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So I feel him helping me, I help him, we help each other. And then we got the legs over the edge here. Now I'm going to put my knee up on the bed, and that helps protect my back when I'm lifting him up. So in order to get my knee on the bed can't be too high for the person that's helping. Then what you're going to do is you're going to lean forward, you're going to grab him by the shoulders, and Fred, on the count of 3, what I want you to do is try and sit up. But before I start sitting him up, I'm going to make sure I keep this top shoulder forward. Otherwise, he's going to lose his balance back, and that's going to be a lot more strain for me, and it's going to be a lot harder for Fred. So on the count of 3, Fred, I want you to help me sit up. 1, 2, 3. Now I feel him helping, so I'm going to help him, and he's going to push. And then I keep my hands here until he's all the way sitting up to make sure he doesn't lose his balance backward. Generally speaking, bed height is not an issue unless it's interfering with your ability to move and get in and out of bed. So if you're helping somebody with getting in and out of bed, this is really the point where bed height does matter. And in Bed Mobility Part 1, I offer detailed information as far as how to adjust the height of your bed, what options that you have. And yes, it is a real pain to address this. But in the end, it makes a huge difference with your ability to help somebody and the ability of someone to help themselves as well. Next is a clip to help someone scoot to the edge of the bed. So now we're going to scoot to the edge of the bed, and again we're going to do the count to 3, and I'm going to have Fred lean that way to take the weight off of his left side so he can more freely bring this leg forward. On the count of 3, we're going to scoot forward on your left. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to pull on the back of his knee here. So that's all we're going to do there. Now we're going to shift weight to the other side. And then on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, scoot. Good. And we keep repeating that until we're on his feet are on the floor. Now we're going to talk about lying back down. And it's the reverse process of getting up. But just a rule of thumb, when you lay down, you put your shoulders down first, and then you get your feet in. If you remember that, that'll help a lot. So when you're getting your shoulders down, you want to make sure, again, that you keep that shoulder forward so you don't lose your balance backward. So the top shoulder is pulled forward as you're helping the individual lie down. And then last, you lift the feet up and place them in the bed. Notice that the thighs are fully supported so that you're not lifting the leg, you're just getting the feet in. So here's a clip of getting back into bed. Okay, Fred, so we're going to lay down. I want you to put your hand on the bed rail. Putting the hand on the bed rail will help keep the shoulder forward. And in addition to that, I'm going to keep that shoulder forward while he's laying down so he keeps his balance. All right, so we're going to lay down. I'm keeping that shoulder forward. Then you see his thighs are supported by the bed. So all I have to do is lift up his feet to bring him in. Then, to get him to roll onto his back, okay, Fred, let's bring your arm back. I'm going to take the bottom knee on both sides, and then I'm going to roll him onto his back. So I use his knees as leverage to get him on his back. So just to summarize, if both you and the person you're helping watch your body mechanics, you can minimize strain and prevent potential injury on either one of you. Try to coordinate your efforts with counting. Anybody that's tried to lift a heavy box with the help of somebody else knows what it feels like if the other person isn't towing their line. So try to count or use whatever method that really works for you so both of you are putting in the effort in trying to help with moving. Give the person with Parkinson's time to initiate their movement because there can be a delay. And if you continue to start helping before they initiate their movement, what happens then, the caregiver ends up doing more and more over time, and then the person that you're helping does less and less. When you're helping somebody with Parkinson's, try not to overhelp them. And I've seen this often with good intending caregivers where they're trying to do everything for them, but then that just makes them more passive, and that's counterproductive to both of you. So when somebody's like getting out of a chair or out of bed or any kind of transfer, let them do what they can do, and then you just supplement what they're unable to do. So you're there like as a backup and have the person with Parkinson's be the primary. If you want to think of it that way, that might help. One thing about these videos is that they're quite limited in their ability to address everybody's individual needs. And everyone has their own unique characteristics on how Parkinson's affects them. And in addition to Parkinson's, you've got things like arthritis and diabetes and a host of other things that everybody else gets. So I can't address all of those needs that people have. But that's why you really should see a physical therapist to help both you, the caregiver, and the individual with Parkinson's. Oftentimes, I would see people with Parkinson's and their spouse or their caregiver, and really the focus of the treatment in physical therapy was teaching the caregiver how they can help the individual with Parkinson's. Physical therapists can help you think of strategies that you haven't thought of before and just make life a little bit better. If you want to see other videos like this one, go to YouTube and type in Mia Bolin, or you can go to my website, parkinsonspt.com. Thank you.